Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be talking about a book that I read recently. I didn't read it recently, I just read one chapter and it blew my mind away. And I had to make this video. So, which is that book? Well, you will see it right here. This book, The Book of Man by Osho. Now, we have seen a lot of controversial figures throughout our lifespan, right? We have heard about a lot of controversial people who may have existed before we came into existence. So Osho is one of them, obviously, and I am not saying that I am his follower or I am against him. It's not that I love him or I hate him. It is just that what he has written or what he has spoken so far has a realistic approach to what he says, and he is very straightforward in doing that. So that makes his statements pretty crisp, pretty clear, and well, it's one of the best things about a man if he can be honest with you. I mean, that's one of the best things, right? If a human being, not just a man, of a human being, and if he can do it by using certain sentences and statements that are raw, that are brutal, and that are real, you can straight away get the experience of understanding it. Okay, so yeah, now let's come to the point wherein I'll tell you why I had to make a video after reading this the first chapter. Now in the month of June I read approximately 5 books, okay, and all the books had some of the similar things. So I have this particular notion that I will read one fiction and then I will read one non-fiction, okay. So I started my journey in this month and I finished approximately 2 non-fiction books and 3 fiction books and 2 non-fiction ones, and I had to pick up another non-fiction now. I don't know why I was attracted to this book. I picked it and the first chapter itself blew my mind. So there are certain things that he has mentioned and I have just jotted it down. I'll explain it one by one just to see. बस उसको बोलते ही I feel you will understand what I am trying to tell or what he was trying to tell you guys. There will be a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions. A lot of my statements and his statements will be misconstrued, but that is okay. We will always change and will always learn a little bit. So consider this as that particular session itself. Okay, so the first thing that he has mentioned a lot. Actually, it's a very big chapter of approximately 18 pages or so, and I just marked a few lines just so that the video can be understandable and short. So the first line that I had marked was, while misery is that you are not being yourself, be yourself. No misery, no competition, no botheration. Very simple, right? Misery है, but क्या है? Because you are not yourself. You are not being yourself. You always are in a rush. You want to compete with someone. You always want to have something that other people have. Most of your desires stem from looking at others. ये लाइन भी यहाँ पे mentioned है. The grass is always greener on the other side of the lawn, and most of the times you are spending your time looking at other people's lawns, and it makes you feel why their lawn is beautiful and not yours. ऐसा क्यों है कि हमारे ही फील्ड में, हमारे ही फेंस के साइड में ग्रीनरी कम है? ऐसा क्यों है? एंड वाई इज इट दैट यू फील दैट देयर ग्रास इज ग्रीनर? वो इल्यूजन है, बट वाई इज इट सो दैट वी आर नॉट एबल टू मेक इट into an illusion? Why is it that our brain tricks us to tell, "Arey yaar, this lifestyle is something that you should have. Arey look at that car, yaar, it is something that you should have. Why is he getting so much? Why is he getting paid so much for doing the same amount of job that you are doing? Why is he getting a promotion when even you worked hard for him?" So there are a lot of factors that add up in this thing. Okay, बहुत ही subtlety के साथ he has explained it कि तुम जब अपने आप से जुदा हो जाते हो and you just get connected with others, okay, on a very superficial level, superficial materialistic level पे, ठीक है, लोगों के खुशियों को हम बस एक मास्क जैसा ट्रीट नहीं करते. हमें लगता है कि अरे उनके पास एक चीज़ है तो ये उनकी खुशी का राज है. दिस इज़ द रीज़न बिहाइंड देयर हैप्पीनेस. ये सच है नहीं, इसके बारे में तो मैं कुछ कमेंट नहीं कर सकता. दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू कैन ऑल्सो सी फ्रॉम योर ओन आइज. Put yourself in those people's shoes for a second and you'll understand that each and everyone out there is hiding something, is going through something, and will never reveal it to you. So unless and until you don't have all the facts, how can you judge that their grass is greener than yours? Maybe they must be feeling कि अरे I have so much things but I'm not happy, but look at this guy, he's so happy and he still doesn't have a lot of stuff. Why can't I be like him? What if your grass is greener for that guy? Even that is a possibility. Like, this is not a paradox I'm talking about. This is a possibility. This is a reality that we are talking about right here, right now. This is quite possible. जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट. काफ़ी अच्छे से बोला है कि भाई अपने आप को देखो, अपने आप से सीखो और अपने आप को ही ग्रो करो, अपने आप को इवॉल्व करो. बी योर सेल्फ. इफ़ यू कांट बी योर सेल्फ देन हाउ डू यू एक्सपेक्ट टू लव योर सेल्फ. और इस पॉइंट पे तो ही हैज़ like written the entire chapter on this particular point, to love yourself, to be yourself, to love yourself. That's it. That is the main crux of the first chapter at least. Most probably आगे भी वैसे ही कुछ एक narrative रहेगा, but for now at least one consistent point was to love yourself. A lot of people will have these questions. What is love yourself? Yeah, I know how to love my parents. I know how to love my spouse, my partner, my kids. I know how to love my dog, my neighbors, my siblings, my relatives, everything. I know. Even I you know what, I even know how to love my country. I bought this laptop yesterday. I love this laptop. I love my house. I brought it recently. I have got a car, it's a big car, SUV, and I love it. So you are telling me that you can love other human beings, you can love materialistic possessions that you have owned, but you cannot love yourself. What are you at the end of the day? You're a human being, right? And if you can't love yourself, how do you expect to grow? इस पे भी एक बहुत ही दमदार पॉइंट डाला है, ठीक है. ओशो ने इस पर एक बहुत ही मस्त पॉइंट लिखा है. And he has also given an example with that, and which is the best thing. Okay, if you, as an engineer myself, whenever I used to write answers, I used to always write them with an example so that explaining it would be easier, and that is what he did over here. Okay, so you will tell me, grow. What you're telling me? I'm growing, right? Perfectly right. So he has given an example of growing up and growing old, and he distinguishes between these two things. He differentiates that growing old and growing up are not the same things. Okay, so let's understand it. There are trees in Japan that are supposedly 400 years old. That's beyond the lifespan of human beings, at least living in this particular century and decades and all in this millennium, in this century, in this decade. We as human beings cannot comprehend that kind of a lifespan for ourselves, but trees, they do. So in Japan there are trees that are approximately 400 years old, but do you know what is the size? They are merely 6 inches tall. You know what 6 inches tall is? Wait, let me show you. I have this tape over here. I'll just show it to you. Okay, see, that's it. You see the 6 mark over here? Yep, that's it. That's how tall they are. How is it that those trees, we have seen trees around, right? And they are humongous in size. You have seen coconut trees, banyan trees, mango trees, all these trees, jackfruit. Like, there are so many trees, so many fruits, and you see these trees being so tall, big. They provide so much shade, and there are trees in Japan that are 400 years old, and they are just 6 inches tall. Something is fishy, right? So what these people do is, apparently there is a pot in which the trees have been kept in. Okay, so what happens is, these pots in which they have been kept, they have no bottom. Okay, so as soon as the tree starts growing a little, the roots also start growing, right? That's how the tree becomes stronger. These people, they just cut that particular root that has grown. So the tree in its entirety is growing old, but it's not growing up. This is very, very, what we can say, in a subtle and simple way, he has made us understand that if you don't love yourself, you will miss the meaning of life. And what will that do? It will make you grow old, but it will not help you to grow up in your life. again, so now let's move forward to the next thing. And this point was very good. So he has put up a little controversial points as well, which I would not like to highlight in this video. You can, I mean, by all means you can buy this book and you can read the first few chapters at least, or you can read the full book, no issues, but go slow, and you can form your own opinions and your own judgments about whatever is right and what is wrong. Okay, and you can form your own arguments on basis of that as well. So I'll be just not highlighting the controversial points, like he has spoken about the political ideologies, he has spoken about the love for country and patriotism and martyrs and all that stuff. So I will not be highlighting those things. It's a little touchy topic for a lot of people, and I just don't want people to look at it in that way. Maybe I am not the right person to be talking about it. So if you can read it and you can form your own judgments about that particular chapter. You can form your own understandings of that statements that he has mentioned in his book. So moving on, there is one line although that I would like to highlight, is wherein he has said that if you don't follow rules, if you don't follow religion, don't follow dogmas, political ideologies, etc., you are not worthy. So this is one point that I would like to touch base upon. And काफ़ी सटल है, सिंप्लिसिटी है इसमें, कुछ ऐसा डिफ़िकल्टी कुछ दिखा नहीं अभी तक मुझे. एंड आई टेल यू वाई. ओके, just think about it. Okay, just think of the days when you were born, just born. Okay, merely a year old or maybe 6 months, or just born, just came out crying. The minute you are born, the second you come out in this planet, there are a lot of things that are branded on you, that are stamped on you. Okay, now what are those things? I'm not just talking about the name or the gender part. Okay, those two things I'll keep aside, because obviously those two things are a part of you, they are a part of your identity, what gender you are and what name you hold. But at the end of the day, there are some things that you don't have a control of. One is religion. The moment you are born with a certain set of religion, and that religion itself has multiple branches. There are multiple categories inside it. There are classes inside it. You are also being distinguished or categorized on the basis of your color, the way you look. Okay, you are being distinguished, you are being differentiated, or you are being even discriminated on the basis of your genetics and your hereditary, which you don't have any control over. You are being discriminated on the basis of the genetic lineage. Did you have any control over it? No, but still you are being branded by it. You take that stamp. Now some people take that with courage and valor, and some people just don't accept it till their death. And some people just don't appreciate it for some reason. But tell me one thing, just strip all these things from you, and at the end of the day, what's left is the person that you were supposed to be, is the person and the purpose for which you were born, the person that you were supposed to become, the purpose that you were supposed to be born, and the goals and the mindsets that you should have had in the very first place. But since our initiation, since we are born, there are a lot of things that happen in our life that we don't have a control over. And since childhood, we get brainwashed into a lot of things. A lot of people, like I was born, I didn't know what racial discrimination is. Although I'm an Indian, I'm still in India, but I didn't understand the concept of being black or being brown or being white. I didn't understand that, because even in India, there are a lot of people who are white, who are very fair. There are a lot of people who are dark. And this is not something that I'm speaking with some kind of racial discrimination or some motive behind it. I'm just explaining you the fact that once you are born, there are a lot of things that change gradually. But it is what you see around you. You don't, as a kid, you are never like, oh, this guy is black, I'll not talk to him. Oh, this guy is very fair, let's go and make friendship with him. No, you are not biased, you are not partial, and that makes you innocent. Don't you think a child loves itself? Don't you think there is a concept of love that a child has for itself only? It doesn't care whether you're sleeping or not, it will cry. It doesn't care whether it's on the flight. If that child is feeling uncomfortable, that child will cause ruckus. will start crying, he will throw tantrum, he will do this, that, XYZ. I'm not talking about a boy, I'm talking about a child in general, boy or a girl anyway. So that is how you should be. If you don't love yourself, how do you expect to be loving someone else? That is just fake then. अगर तुम ये दावा करते हो कि तुम किसी और से प्यार करते हो और अपने आप से नहीं, तो हाउ डू यू एक्सपेक्ट फॉर अदर्स टू लव योरसेल्फ, फॉर अदर्स टू लव यू? हाउ इज दैट इवन पॉसिबल? You need to think about that once. And if you read this book, the first chapter made me think that, okay, there are some things that were wrong. My core principles got shook, okay, and they were shook like anything. Like I had to make a video. That is how badly it shook my core principles. See, you are born with a certain set of ideologies and mindset and certain set of discipline rules that have been like shoved upon you. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, because it's not just the upbringing I'm talking about, it's the generation you're living in, it's the generation that your parents lived in, it's the generation that their parents lived in. Okay, the ideologies, the mindsets, they keep changing, they keep evolving, but sometimes the central value, the crux of those values will always be, I don't know how to say this, but it will always be against you. It will never be in the favor of you loving yourself. It will always be against the topic of love. Have you seen this? Even your brain sometimes perceives that, oh, this is happening outside, let me go and see. Oh, there's a fight happening outside, let me go and see. Oh, there is this kind of war happening, wow. Although you have sympathy for it, you feel pity, but somewhere in your mind you are more and more intrigued by that. Right? If I put up two things, okay, one is a love story which is true, which is real, and I'll just put it on one side of the scale, and on the other side of the scale I'll put, let's say, the recent war that happened between Russia and Ukraine. Okay. Which one are you going to pick up first? I'm not even saying which one you're going to pick either. Which one will be the one that you will pick up first? And 99.99% will pick up this, because according to them, love story is bullshit. For them, this is what matters most, because this is why, okay, a lot of countries will get affected. There may be a chance of World War III. There is a chance of someone being connected to a different country. There is partnerships going on. There is money trades happening. There is bans happening, and all that stuff. Okay, legalities and illegalities is just something that I'll leave aside in this particular point. But we are so much obsessed with hatred, we're so much obsessed with the things that are materialistic, that we often try to forget ourselves. Not even talking about the people around you, but about ourselves. So that is what he's saying. Try to love yourself first. Love yourself and be yourself. Try to be selfish first. Only then can you be selfless. Understand this concept. If you want to be selfless, now you can't go out there and tell, अरे मैंने ये इसको ये दिया, I helped this person, I did that. Somewhere in the corner of the mind, it is igniting some kind of a superficial entitlement. Okay, which is very wrong, but it is going on in our country, in our world, and we have seen around us. So like I said, just love yourself. That's all. Be selfish first, love yourself, and then do everything else that you want to do in this world. Then start loving others. Then start being selfless. There is this particular announcement that they give when you get on the plane, if you have heard it. Okay, they say this, that if there is a situation, a critical situation wherein the air pressure gets low and the masks come down, do yourselves a favor. First wear the mask yourself and then help someone else. Just understand the point behind it. They are not telling you to be selfish. They are not telling you to be selfless, or they are against being selfless. They are telling, first of all, help yourself. If you can't help yourself, how do you expect to help someone else first? Wear the bloody mask first and then help others. You may not know that that person even needs help or not. Even in fact, he must be like, I want to die, man. I am not interested. Mask rakho tum log apne paas. Obviously, that is something I'm talking. That is very naive of me. But yeah, now that person may or may not be in a state to put it. But first, if you put that mask and secure yourself, safeguard yourself, there is a very good chance that that person will be in safe hands as well, right? So this is what if it is. You have to be selfish. First you have to earn money, only then can you give it in charity, right? A poor man cannot give in charity, right? First you have to love yourself. Unless and until you don't do that, how do you expect to love your family? You need to prioritize yourself on a certain aspect, on a certain level. If you don't do that, you are just putting others on a pedestal, that's all. And you will always be inferior, you will always be below them. Irrespective of the fact that you love them and you do whatever you want, if you don't put yourself on a pedestal or make at least equal to them, you will always be down, you will always be below. Like I said, you will grow old, but you will never grow up. So that's it for today, guys. I'll put the link of this book in the description so you guys can check it out, you guys can buy it. And there is one more book by Osho as well, that is the Book of Women. And I don't know, I have not planned or I have no intentions of reading that book as of now. But after reading the first chapter itself, I don't know what will happen in the following chapters. And if I feel like reading it, I will. Okay, so fingers crossed. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching the video so far, and please give your valuable comments and please give your valuable feedbacks in the comment section, whatever you feel like about today's video. And we can also discuss about the topics that you want to talk about or you want me to explain. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you. It's me, Agrim Pillai, signing out. Peace.